Alright guys, welcome to RC Mojo. I'm still a bit short on time this week, so we're going to have a quick look at yet another project. I'm about halfway through making the next Tamiya Wrecker video, but that's not going to be ready this week. Instead, we're going to look at the Bruder Mercedes Sprinter camper van. A toy van meant for kids to push around. Not the most interesting on the surface, but you see it's pretty close to the right size to run with the Tamiya trucks. So this project is going to be a full RC conversion with lights and maybe some sound. The plan is to try and make a bit of a guide that will work with some of the other Sprinter variants too. I think the only odd one out would be the pickup, as the rear chassis will need to be a bit different. This version is around 60 quid in the UK at the moment. You can get it a good bit cheaper if you import from Europe. If you just want a van, the DHL version is ideal. Plus, you can get it in the UK for well under 40 quid. The general quality of the Bruder toys is really very good. They're really designed for kids to crash into the skirting board, so they're really well put together. Plus, the detail is well up there with what you'd expect from a hobby-grade body. With the camper, you also get some accessories and other bits and bobs too. There's a very nice instruction sheet that shows all the opening doors, where to stick the stickers and how to assemble the picnic furniture, all very nicely presented. There's an instruction booklet with some very pleasant words thanking you for your purchase. And lastly, for the paperwork, there's a nice little catalogue. Unfortunately, most of the Bruder toys aren't quite the right size to sit with the Tamiya trucks, but even so, they do quite a range. In the plastic bag we have all the plastic bits. There's 4 parts that make up the folding chairs, 3 for the table, a nice set of silver cutlery with handles that clip into the hand of the driver figure. So I think he might end up wielding a pair of knives or possibly spoons while stood up by the warehouse at the next meet. We have 2 white parts trees with pots, plates and mugs, and lastly for the plastic we have a baseball cap for the driver figure, which is a nice touch. Right, despite the instruction sheet being really clear, showing in detail how it all works, I was still beaten by the table. You see, the legs are supposed to clip into the clips at the ends so they can fold under for storage. One end clips in, just as you'd expect, you just press it. But do you think I could figure out how to fit the other end? I must have spent 20 minutes fiddling around with it. In the end, I just kind of balanced it in place just to make you think I'd figured it out. I'll have to work it out at some point though, as it'll look good on the layout next to the camper. The chairs are nice and simple. You just thread one part inside the other and clip the pins into the holes. Takes all of 5 seconds to do and they work pretty well. For the time being, we're going to leave the cutlery and plates on their parts trees, just so I don't lose them. If we detail the inside of the camper, we might use them just to fill it out a bit. Which just leaves the 2 rubber straps, which are designed to go over some hooks on the roof to keep luggage secure. Quite a nice thing to have. We'll just need to work out what to actually put on the roof. And now for the bit you've all been waiting for, the van itself. Now it's really nicely made. The fit of the body parts is excellent. Not quite perfect, but very close. The only nasty bit is the sticky tape that they've stuck the doors closed with. When you peel it off, it leaves some sticky patches of glue on the body. Not the end of the world, but a bit annoying. A bit of WD-40 on a paper towel will dissolve it nice and easily though. At the front we have the passenger door as its left-hand drive. The hinges feel nice and robust, but it still swings freely, showing the internal detail. The gaps around the door are fairly even too. Further back we have the sliding door on the side, which has more tape holding it closed. Now we can just press the door handle just like a button, which pops the latch so we can slide the door back. Now the slide is a little bit rough, but it feels like something that's going to free up with a bit of use. Up on the roof there's a sunshade, which yet again is taped shut. This time though the tape runs under the bit that's attached to the roof, making it a right pain to remove. You can't easily get under the ends to peel it up. I found cutting it near the middle, then pulling at it quite hard to get it from underneath worked okay. More of a faff than you'd really want, but again not really the end of the world. With the tape off, it slides out quite nicely, tilting down and sort of latching into position. When you're done with it, it just lifts up and slides back in. For the back doors there isn't any tape, but you do have to open the right door first as there is a bit of an overlap. Otherwise they have a similar solid latch to the front doors but without the springiness. Inside we find a drawer for storing the picnic gear, which is going to make a great place to hide some electronics and battery. It also reveals the only naff looking bit on the van, those sleeping bags. A fair old cost saving, but for a scale camper I think we need to make something a bit nicer. Maybe flatten the surface and use it for something else entirely. On the left side of the camper we have the driver's door, which not surprisingly works just as well as the passenger door. Now you can't really see inside due to the lighting, but there's a nice detailed dashboard in there. It's all black though, so it's a bit of a black hole. At the front we have this thing, not sure what it is really, but the manual says just to pull it to remove. I'm thinking it might be some sort of extra bumper to protect the front from high-speed skirting board related accidents. It is a bit of a strange shape though. And well, that's about it really. If you push it, it rolls really freely, which if you're using it as a push around toy would seem to be ideal. But we're not using it as a push around toy, so we're going to need to see what's underneath. And the answer is, well, not a lot really. There's a moulding that has some axle and prop shaft shaped things moulded into it, but nothing that's going to be all that useful. I think we'll end up removing all that black plastic and replacing it entirely. Usually with these Bruder conversions, most people use gearbox modules with a motor built in and drive each wheel with a custom chassis. But I think with what's available these days, we can do a much simpler job. If I bring in a WPL chassis, you can see it's not far off. The wheels are a bit big, but that's a minor issue. If we hold them together, the WPL axle is really close to being just the right width, which got me thinking. So I did a search for Bruder Sprinter WPL conversion and found a nice little slideshow video of someone using a WPL D12 chassis. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It's worth looking at as he's put a lot of extra detail in the interior too. A very nice build. The D12 is rear wheel drive with independent front suspension. Ideal as we're going to be using it indoors, so we don't really need four-wheel drive, and that front end will make it really simple to get a good tight turning circle. The chassis kits are less than 25 quid, so it's ideal to hack around to make it fit. Add some lights, maybe some sound, and that's going to make for an awesome little camper van to drive about. That's the plan anyway. I've ordered bits, but they're still 2 or 3 weeks away, so it's a way off yet. Right. With any luck, I can put together a normal video next week. These unboxing type videos are nice and quick to put together, but we need to get on with the builds. There's the Tamiya Wrecker, the Sand Scorcher, the Huina Digger conversion, another undisclosed Tamiya kit, plus a couple of other builds I'm waiting to have a few days free to sort out. I'm not complaining though, better to have some toys ready for when I can play with them, so it's all good. As always then, thanks for watching, like if you liked, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if there's something on your mind. Bye guys!